Would you guys like another round one match?
Yep, absolutely.
Sarius again, though, he's bringing a completely different deck to last time. I think the deck he brought last time was very good, and when you're the lone wolf and you're the only person running a deck, it not performing good enough, well enough to get into the top 8 isn't necessarily that telling. But his deck this week's pretty good as well. As I say, there are a lot of different kinds of that soccer deck, and you can build it in a lot of different ways. Like the backbone of the deck is shardless, so you can pretty much do what you want with it.
All right, so it looks like our next match in round number 1, round 2 matches are underway, so we won't have any matches for round 2 just yet, but it looks like we're going to have a match between Piecetinker and Hevka coming up, another round 1 match. Let's go ahead and take a look at a little bit of history here for Piecetinker. It's part of the team Project Infinite. He is 27 years old. He's also an author for 5 Shards, so if you're a 5 Shards fan, you've probably read some of his work. He wants to get into game design, and he's a husband and father of 1. His top 8 finishes include 2 HEX Bash tournaments. Piecetinker actually taking down the first HEX Bash using the Mono Ruby deck and that Torque Slam Stick champion change that a lot of people found interesting to get away from Lasgar's Vengeance. So what do you think about Piecetinker, Neo?
He's all right, I guess. I mean, it's hard to really say things about people that I know personally, because my first reaction is I just want them to fail in every possible way.
All right, fair enough. Let's get it on the action here. This is Piecetinker playing Blue Sparrow against Hevka and Kagalichu. Not a Sockets deck. Looks like a little different deck, but we'll go ahead and take a look at opening hands for both players. For Piecetinker, looks like Monsagi Coin, Double Sapphire Ice, Well of Ancients, Change Course, Runebind, and Gargalith. Over for Hevka, we see Double Blood Shard, Well of the Ancients, Hero Fall, Cottontail Explorer ×2, and an Emperor's Lackey. So what do you think about the opening hands for both players?
Yeah, good stuff all around here. Seeing a bit of a difference in champion choice. Blue Sparrow here instead of what I would assume would normally be Winter Moon or Dreaming Fox. Kagalichi looking pretty standard with the resource fishing there from the bottom of the deck and the Lackey for some early damage and some sacrificing. And yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what Piecetinker's got going on here, because I have not really... I mean, I recognize the cards in his hand, but the choice of the champion is interesting. Let's see how it goes.
All right.
Well, with Blue Sparrow and Changed Course, it's possible that he is running some sort of reanimation shell just to chime in.
Okay.
Got some blood in there as well, I see. Yeah, that's a good shout. Just wants a little bit of extra versatility, I suppose.
So we'll see that Sapphire Ice Fate Weave pass the turn to Hevka. He'll find a resource off the top, play that Blood Shard, and nothing for him to do. As we go back over to Piecetinker, finds an Aegilis off the top.
Yeah, that's probably something he doesn't want to keep in his hand for too long. I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, like just finding ways to favorably discard cards so you can, potentially bring them back, even if they're not necessarily in the shard you're playing. And Blue Sparrow has been there, and I just kind of overlooked it, I suppose.
We see Emperor's Lackey for Hevka. Change Course for Piecetinker. We'll see a Change Course and Eternal Seeker go into the Crypt, along with that resource.
Another Aegilis there as well. Yeah, that's not a good looking hand now. It looked okay to start with, but it's looking a bit scary, honestly.
Back to Hevka. Second Blood Threshold now available, so Hero Fall in line. Here comes that Lackey for 3. Piecetinker going to take that hit, and Hevka will take the health lead here. 21-18. Cottontail Explorer going to go ahead and go down. We'll see an Underworld Crusader go into the Crypt as well. Back to Piecetinker. Sapphire Ice will allow him to Fate Weave. Blue Sparrow finds Nameless Truth off the top.
Yeah, that is not too bad. It means that if he is, chucking the cards he wants, those reanimator cards, into the Crypt, he's able to get them back as well. Yeah, interesting.
Piecetinker just holding up. Does have Runebind available. Back to Hevka. Emperor's Lackey will ready. Gets -1/-1. Now at 2/2. Blood Threshold comes out. Now at 4. Kagalichu Champion Power activating. A Wild Ice in Hevka's hand. Loses a Rune or a Hierophant.
Nothing better than seeing your opponent pick up a resource from their Kagalichi power, unless they need that resource.
Swing for 3. Piecetinker at 15. Underworld Crusader with Skyguard and Steadfast will end Hevka's turn. Back to Piecetinker. Finds a Sapphire Ice off the top.
So he's got a choice here, really. He hasn't got a wild threshold yet, and he might need one. But I mean, he's got plenty of other options too. He doesn't have anything in his hand that needs wild right now. But I would imagine that at least some of the reanimator stuff in his deck is going to need that wild threshold. So he's got to, and he can't use the coins without a wild threshold either.
We'll see that Sapphire Ice wanting to Fate Weave here. And we'll just pass the turn back to Hevka. Potential 8 damage on the board if Lackey sacrifices that Cottontail Explorer. Lily Pad comes down. Going to go ahead and create that Battle Hopper. Sacrificing the Hopper, so 9 damage on board right now for Hevka. And we'll see Runebind. And looks like it's going to target that Underworld Crusader, so only 5 damage now available to Piecetinker. That's still going to take him down to 10, so Hevka is sitting at a over double health lead here. Cottontail Explorer for Hevka. He'll find a resource, and of course, the Underworld Crusader will come back as a result. And we're now back over to Piecetinker. Finds an Eternal Seeker off the top.
Seeker off the top, but he's not at enough resources to play. Only at 5 here, 6 if he plays a resource this turn. It would be pretty great, honestly, if he could put it down, but he's unable to fish with Blue Sparrow. He's a charge away. If that had been a reanimator, he could have put the Gargolith down and maybe got something going there, but he actually doesn't have a lot going on. I suppose he can rip the Runebind back and prevent 4 of the damage, but that's about it, right, for now.
Nameless Truth for Piecetinker. Selecting his target. Runebind Eternal Seeker finds a shard. And that'll end his turn. Back over to Hevka. Nine damage on the board. 1 away from getting Piecetinker out here. Hevka with a comfortable lead at 21 health. We'll go ahead and go into combat phase. Here comes a swing. Runebind. Going to go ahead and target that. So 5 damage here to Piecetinker. Goes to 5.
So worth noting there, he did actually take a shard from the opponent's crypt, I think, one that had been put in there by Kagalichu. And that guarantees the 7 for this turn. So even though he had only that slow shard he needed to draw into a resource using the Nameless Truth, that means that he's able to get 7 for that thing next turn. Mysterious Rune, as Nick is kindly pointing out there, is a 2-cost. So if he chooses 2, it is going to get that Lackey and all the Cottontail Explorers. Yeah, right.
It's going to wipe that board very quickly here. So Mysterious Rune. Luckily, Hevka didn't pull out a resource, so Piecetinker, I'm sure, is happy about that. So that Mysterious Rune is still a rune. At 7 now, more than likely, we're going to see that Seeker come down, and that's going to clear Hevka of all the troops and that Mysterious Rune. So basically all the troops for Hevka's side. We see Blue Sparrow activate, finds a Cottontail Explorer. Aeolus will go into the crypt. The Eternal Seeker is going to come down. Musagi Coins going to go ahead and try to see if he finds an answer here. Will not. So Seeker will target the number 2. And all cards on Hevka's side with cost 2 will now go into the void.
Yeah, he was really hoping to get a resource there added to his hand to flip that rune over just to keep that guy alive. To get some damage in, because Hero Fall would have cleared the way. Hero Fall does come down, and Seekers fly to the void.
The one Seeker will go into the crypt, so that is still available to be reanimated. We see a Well of Instinct for Piecetinker. I really like this deck from Piecetinker. It's very, very interesting. Change course here. Finds a rune bind.
Yeah, having the answer is pretty nice. He hasn't found any of his reanimation stuff yet, which is kind of interesting. And he's quite deep into his deck, almost halfway down. We do see a little flicker of Mordrum's Gift there, but ultimately it ends up in the crypt.
Strangle for Hevka will join the other Strangle in his hand, so he has a lot of ways to interact with troops. We see an activation of that champion power, finds a Fenteo, so potential Tarantula eggs to be put into Piecetinker's deck.
Yeah, that is not a bad hit when you are halfway through your opponent's deck here. Still none of the reanimator cards here for Piecetinker. You know, a single Rancor into a Gargalith completely blows this game wide open, because once that spell shield is on the board, there isn't a lot that Hevka can do.
Cottontail Explorer looks like weave into nothing, one of the cards going into the crypt. So double resources, Runebind and Aegilis for Piecetinker. Hevka has actions to be able to deal with troops, but nothing substantial here. We see Runebind target that Fenteo, and he'll turn into a mysterious rune. Hevka hoping to find a resource, and does, so Fenteo will come back onto the board. Won't be able to do anything this turn, but possibility in the future to form Tarantula eggs.
Yeah, it's probably worth doing just to make. Oh, there's the gift!
There it is,
Finally,
the gift.
we found what we're looking for on Piecetinker's side here. Mordrum's Gift, sucketed with
The
cost -1.
Cost -1.
Yeah, oh, of course, the cost is -1. That should have been obvious to me. Yes, indeed, cost -1 to make it cheaper, I guess, for handy dandy things. It actually picks a Gargalith there from the Blue Sparrow, so he doesn't even necessarily need to he doesn't need to use this Mordrum's Gift to get a Gargalith, when he can just play one, and then he can, you know, get an Aegilis next turn. Spell Shield Aegilis seems pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's probably... Oh, he decides to go for the Mordrum's Gift here instead of the Gargalith. We'll see what he wants to pull off of this.
Yeah, that is interesting. He's actually going for the Seeker because he just doesn't want that Fenteo around, which is fair enough. He does have the activation on Gargalith. Obviously, he doesn't know how much removal is in Hevka's hand here. You know, but it's fine. I mean, the Fenteo is probably a big enough threat that he should get rid of it. And he's still got the Gargalith in hand to play out next turn. So that was a pretty decent line. I like it.
Hevka could next turn double strangle the Seeker if he wanted to. 2 for 1 on that, I guess. He's going to strangle now. And strangle now. So I guess he could do it this turn. That was my bad on the cost. So he's double strangle. So he uses 3 removals to get rid of that Seeker.
Yeah, and that's... I mean, what he's thinking is, this dude's got a Gargalith in his hand.
Wow.
This removal needs to be used now, basically. Yazakan off the top. Really good top deck. Just the right time to pick up a Yazakan off the top, honestly, when you've just completely ditched your entire hand to get rid of a threat. Plenty of targets in there too. Lots of nice stuff, but that's kind of the strength of Kagalichu. It has a lot of very high card quality.
Ruin Forge coming down. He'll be able to draw a card and then has to discard a card. Finds an Aegilis. He'll discard the Aegilis. Here comes Gargalith down. All troops now on Piecetinker's side have Spell Shield, and we'll just pass the turn back over to Hevka and finds an Eternal Seeker.
Okay, well, that's one answer to a Gargalith. Probably the only one in that deck right now. And yeah, straight away. Very, very nice hit there for Yazakan. Good job, Yazakan. You did well.
So Piecetinker deciding the line to play Mordrums instead of Gargalith may be the tipping point here to give Hevka the amount of time needed here to win. Rob Pot Gang going to go ahead and activate from the crypt by sacrificing that Battle Hopper. He'll come into play. Here comes a swing for 3. No way for Piecetinker to answer this. He'll go down to 2.
one more gift, but it's not really going to do that much, honestly. He can get Aegis, and Aegis will protect his health. And that's about it. That's all he can do right now, I think.
Two flight troops for Hevka, so Piecetinker needs to find a way to stay alive. Mordrum's gift. Gonna go for the
He's actually
Eternal
gone for the
Seeker.
Seeker gets rid of Rockport and Yazakan, which is an equally decent play, but it does open up the possibility that, you know, that 5 damage in the air is going to connect.
Draw for Hevka is a resource, so now gonna go ahead and play that. One away from activating champion power. No swing. Back to Piecetinker. Finds a Moonsagi coin. It's gonna go ahead and activate that. Finds a Primal Prism. Mordrum's gift goes into the crypt.
Prism's not a bad card here, but there are only 16 cards left in that deck right now. 20 for Hevka, 16 for Piecetinker. Things are coming down to the point where there might not be much left in either player's deck that can actually do stuff here.
Another resource for Hevka does get to 4. Activation at champion power. What does he find? Runir Hierophant.
Well, if Cunning is not what he wants to see, he needs another gift, another rancor. If he can get, you know, that spell shield back on the board, he'll be doing well for himself.
Hevka trying to find... Ooh, finds a Gargalith.
Gargalith on the other side now. That's pretty huge as well. Oh, man. I mean, Hevka's looking stronger because of this health difference here. Swings in anyway, gives the +1/+1, which is all he needs to make that trade. And now the air is open again. Piecetinker back needing to find an answer.
So Piecetinker needs to find something to keep a Seeker from hitting him in the face. Gargalith off the top's not going to do it. And Hevka will take game number 1. Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that line about going Mordrums instead of Gargalith?
I mean, ultimately, the Yazakan came off the top, and then that Yazakan hit a Seeker. But, I mean, he could have used Gargalith first. I don't know. I'm not sure it would have changed much, but I think I would have preferred to get the board-wide spell shield down earlier.
All right, so we're going to be going into reserves for both players. We'll bring you game 2 between Hevka and Piecetinker. Hevka taking game number 1.
It's a tough choice, right? Because, you know, Fentio is such a huge threat. It's difficult.
All right, so opening hand for both players, we see Piecetinker here, Moonsagi coin, Sapphire Eyes, Sapphire Shard, a Well of Ancients, Aegis, Eternal Seeker, and Primordial Cockatrice. Very interesting here. For Hevka, we see that Well of Ancients, Blood Shard, Moonsagi Lily Pad, Runir Hierophant, Steel Intel, Emperor's Lackey, and a Hero Fall. Yeah,
Steel Intel is definitely good if you are playing against a guy who wants to put all his best cards into his crypt. And even the ones that aren't supposed to be in the crypt will eventually go there, like the Mordrum's gift and stuff. But yeah, I like the Cockatrice. It's a decent enough card, and if you resurrect that, you know, it's a manual a manual. I guess you don't discard it; it goes back to the deck, right? Yeah, okay. It's a manual discard, as in they choose the cards to discard, but it can come out with these resurrection effects as well, and you know, give you a big lethal troop with a discard attached to it. I'm not sure if I like it. I'm not sure if it's a reserves card, but I'm not sure if I like it against Kagalichu, because Kagalichu doesn't really mind if things are in its crypt a lot of the time.
This is true. We see a Lackey for Hevka on turn 2, back over to Piecetinker. He's now at 3. Looks like he's going to go ahead and activate that Cockatrice, so Hevka forced to discard 2 cards from their hand.
It's good here. It's definitely good here, but like if there was a Seeker in that hand, like it, you know, it's potentially beneficial for Hevka.
Interesting choice here for Hevka. What 2 cards would you pitch if you were in Hevka's shoes right now? Wow, decides on the Steel Intel and a resource.
Yeah, this is really slow for Piecetinker. I suppose if he does hit Mordrum's gift, off of this draw or off of the Blue Sparrow, he's in a pretty fantastic spot. But oh wow, okay. I say fantastic spot. It's not that fantastic. There is a hero fall in that hand. But I mean, he can do it this turn with Blue Sparrow if he wants to.
Blue Sparrow. Activation from Piecetinker. Finds a Mordrum's Gift off the top to join the other one in his hand.
Yeah, that makes it pretty fantastic. Like, I feel like he's going to want to wait a turn, but obviously he doesn't know that Crusader's in his hand. He's just going for it now.
Mordrum's Gift on that Seeker. And he'll choose a number and void those cards from Hevka's side. Gonna go ahead and void the Runeir Hierophant. Back over to Hevka. Does have a way to respond to that Eternal Seeker with the Hero Fall in hand. Finds a Primordial Cockatrice of his own. So we've got Cockatrices on both sides from both players here.
Every play here is pretty good, honestly. We see a shard pickup there, so obviously Hero Fall is probably the line. But I mean, Cockatrice and taking 5 seems okay too.
Hero Fall going to hit that Seeker, which means the other two are going to go into the Void. Here comes that swing, sacrificing the Battle Hopper, so 4 damage on Piecetinker. That's going to take him down to 14. Finds a Ruinforge Rummager off the top for Piecetinker. He'll go ahead and play a resource.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Piecetinker that he picked that up off the top, because if he didn't pick up something to play... Oh, he's going for the gift anyway! Oh, okay. I was going to say the Runeforge Rummager gives him a reason to not play Mordrum's Gift this turn ahead of time.
Hevka,
but he's done it anyway.
Wow, Hevka going to go ahead and play out that Underworld Crusader with speed, no swing, back to Piecetinker. Finds a Weave into nothing.
Yeah, that's a pretty great pickup for him here, actually. With a 5/5 flyer on the board and a way to interrupt your opponent's plays, that's a pretty good position to be in, even if there is damage on the other side of the board.
Here comes an Exarch off the top for Hevka. We'll go ahead and play that and that resource. Now sitting here with that Primordial Cockatrice in hand. Looks like...
It's interesting.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It's interesting that the Cockatrice is in both of these decks right now, because discarding is beneficial to both players in some cases, especially in Piecetinker's case. You know, if you're holding up that Aegilis that you keep getting in your hand and you don't want to have in your hand, then a Cockatrice is actually pretty useful for you.
Gargalith for Hevka. Here comes the swing. See that block, and Gargalith going to get +1/+1, so a trade here. 1 damage can be assessed to Piecetinker. Going to lose some health and draw some cards with Underworld Crusader going into the Crypt. Piecetinker finding a Primordial Cockatrice off the top.
So he's single blood right now, which means he can't just plop it down. He does go for the Rummager. Rancor's a really good hit here, solid hit. So I guess now he's got to decide, does he want to make his opponent discard cards? Or does he want to hold up that interrupt?
Rotten Rancor also against that Exarch is not very good value either.
Yeah, the Rancor is not a thing that can happen right now. Looks like he's gone for the interrupt.
Ooh, a Fenteo for Hevka off the top. He'll play that resource out. Kagalichu going to be ahead and activated. Finds a Yazukan, so he's going to hard cast this Primordial Saber or Cockatrice. Weave into nothing is going to stop it and allow Piecetinker to Fate Weave. Ooh, Gargalith off the top for Piecetinker. 1 resource away from playing that.
Yeah, needs a threshold for his own Cockatrice too. And obviously, again, as we discussed, Rancor is not that great here. So, I mean, I think he wants all of his cards. Like using Blue Sparrow here isn't amazing. He's actually just gone for the Cockatrice, which is fair enough. Something to do. Might as well do it.
So Hevka now with just a Yazukan in hand after that activation of Primordial Cockatrice's ability. Piecetinker, got him past. Not much he can do here against that Exarch. Rotten Rancor for Hevka. Things could get pretty ugly here for Piecetinker.
Yeah, this is awkward for Piecetinker because the Yazukan's a great play. Because the Rancor on the other side would need to hit a lethal troop. And the Rancor is really bad too, because there are all kinds of nasty things in Hevka's crypt. Goes for the Cockatrice that he took out.
So
that's both his cards gone. Oh,
cards gone. Here comes a swing and a block, trying to protect his health total. And Hevka now in a really good spot. Piecetinker in top deck mode. Going to go ahead and see Activation Champion Fire to find a Well of Cunning. Not what Piecetinker's looking for here. And we're going to go back to Hevka. Definitely in the driver's seat here. Finds a Wild Ice. Yazukan's going to come down. We're going to see a swing here for 5. So Piecetinker is going to be dead next turn unless he can find an answer to stop one of these troops. We'll see what he finds off the top. A Well of Ancients. That's not going to do it. And Piecetinker falling to Hevka 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying Cockatrice is a bit dubious because of the things that can happen with these resurrection decks, but I mean, it's pretty good if your opponent only has 2 cards in their hand.
Wow.
Fantastic timing.
Yeah, it really was.